علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah. Thank you, Qari Ali Hassan, for that beautiful recitation. I now request everyone to please rise for the national anthem. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's conference is a celebration of ideas, intellect, and innovation. And we are incredibly proud to share that we have received an overwhelming response in the form of more than 150 high-quality research papers, both from across Pakistan and abroad, a true milestone in the conference journey. Throughout the day, you will experience a range of thought-provoking plenary sessions, vibrant technical discussions, and knowledge-sharing forums across multiple tracks. This afternoon, we are excited to present our 23rd Thought Leader Forum, where distinguished experts will share valuable insights on emerging trends and future directions. The theme of the 23rd Thought Leader Forum this year is Redefining Success Through Sustainable Governance. This forum gathers eminent stakeholders, academic experts, government officials, development sector specialists, and corporate leaders to have a collaborative dialogue on the real issues impacting sustainable governance in Pakistan, opportunities, challenges, and the way forward. Parallel to the Thought Leader Forum, we will also be conducting technical sessions from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. covering key domains. After the technical sessions, we will be having a closing ceremony in which the best paper awards will be given in all research domains. Later on, the poster competition prize winners will also be announced. Ladies and gentlemen, for the welcome note, it is my honor to invite Mr. Khusro Parvez Khan, Head of Campus, Zabist, Islamabad, a man whose vision, leadership, unwavering commitment to excellence have propelled this campus to new heights. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Khusro Parvez Khan for the welcome.
Thank you. Respected Madam Shahnaz Wazir Ali, President Zabist University, our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Abdul Qayyum Slari Saab, Executive Director, SDPI, our guest from Malaysia, Ms. Siti Blenda, the distinguished delegates, researchers, and scholars, esteemed deans, HODs, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and very good morning to all of you. This is a very special occasion, and we welcome you all on the 23rd International Research Conference, which has been put together by a team of very dedicated faculty members here. The theme is adaptive business strategies, and as in the intro, I said how to leverage the innovation, inclusion, and integration into its sustained governance system. We are really indebted, Dr. Slari Saab Aapka, for your presence here despite your commitment, very busy schedule. You came here on our request, and in this plenary session, we are really grateful. We are equally grateful to our delegates, scholars, and researchers who have come here from all over Pakistan to contribute to this research conference. Let me divulge for a moment why this theme was adapted and what was the background. It's very important. You know, with the advent of this century, and especially during last one decade, the pace of change has accelerated so much that if you are not keeping a pace with that changing environment, no business can survive. There was a maxim that big eats the small. It has changed over the last 5 years. It's the fast eats the slow. And that is what we are witnessing. Each one of us has shared the experience of pandemic 2020, month of March. The whole globe came to a standstill. Just one coronavirus paralyzed the whole world. And see to it what happened thereafter. We call it new norm. And that new norm, the businesses, their strategies, the public sector, all change overnight. And I still remember there was so much pressure on the pharma industry and the research centers that in order to combat the coronavirus and its after effects, how could we leverage the industry capacity to meet the demand? Not only this, there was a great supply chain disruption across the globe in every sector. Come to 2023, famously known as ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. See to it how it has, this disruptive technology has changed the whole landscape of the business environment across the globe. You know, and many businesses have laid off millions of workers after the introduction of AI technology and robotics in their business streams. A third example, most recent, the unilateral tariffs imposed by USA. You know, now, I was just discussing with Dr. Sularisa, China is struggling now with the overcapacity and the overproduction. And so is many other countries. And there are countries which are crying from hunger and all that. This kind of a disruption has taken place in this century through different, actions, some man-made, some natural. Who can forget the natural disaster of the floods in Sindh, Balochistan, and Pakistan's landscape, which has changed the lives of millions and millions of people? Hunger has struck. And the most recent report tells us that the agribusinesses will be greatly affected due to GLOF and the glacier melting. So this is how the businesses need to be more adaptive and work more to immediately grasp these changes. I am extremely pleased to say that our team, which has organized this conference, the Associate Dean, Dr. Muhammad Asif Khan, and the chair of this conference, Dr. Shazia Akhtar, along with the researchers. So thank you very much for putting this. And this is how the Zabist works. It has the capacity to see and envision what is coming in. And you have, at a very appropriate moment, organized this conference. Once again, I thank you all who are participating in this conference. And as in the openings, it was told that there will be a few sessions also, apart from the research papers and all that. There are people from business, people from academia, from research. They will come together, join their head, and see to it what are the future strategies which they can adapt. And the two forums, one of the forum is the Thought Leader Forum, which is happening today in the evening, and the other is tomorrow, the Policy Forum, and where we will be putting something for our government also, and for the businesses also, and for the corporate sector also, some strategies and some policies, how they can move forward. Thank you very much indeed. Bahut shukriya.
Thank you, Honorable Head of Campus, for your inspiring words.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce Honorable President of Zabist University, Shehnaz Wazir Ali. Madam Shehnaz Wazir Ali is a highly esteemed educationist and public policy expert with a career spanning over 40 years. She is a recipient of the Sitara Imtiyaz and has been elected to the UNESCO Executive Board in Paris twice, and has also chaired the Special Committee. She has served as Minister of State for Education, Senior Education Specialist at the World Bank, and has twice been elected to the National Assembly of Pakistan. In addition, she has held the position of Special Assistant to the PM on 2 separate occasions to national policies on education, health, and social welfare.
Madam Shehnaz Wazir Ali is also actively in governance and academia, holding key positions on boards of several prestigious institutions. Leadership continues to drive innovation and excellence in education and policy reform. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have her with us today, and grateful for the inspiration and insight she brings to this gathering. Please join me in welcoming Madam Shehnaz Wazir Ali, the President of Zabist University, for the address.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dr. Abdul Qayyum Suleri Sahab, a colleague and a friend, and one of the most significant policy, institutional development thought leaders and researchers in Pakistan. It's for us a great honor and privilege, Abid, Dr. Abid, to see you here today and to see the work that SDPI does, which has impacted, I think, generations of academicians and researchers across Pakistan, and perhaps more importantly, which is something that very few individuals have been able to do and few institutions have been able to do, is to impact policy change. Because it is policy change that brings about the scale of change that you want in a country. So a very warm welcome on behalf of Zabist University, particularly on behalf of Zabist Islamabad campus, and we look forward to a very substantive relationship between Zabist Islamabad campus and yourself and SDPI. It's a special privilege for me to welcome our international speaker, Professor Siti Falanda Padle. She is here from Malaysia. And as you know, Malaysia and Pakistan have a very special relationship that goes back many, many decades. And she represents the University of Malaysia from Terengganu. Now, Malaysia is a remarkable country, and we know that many Pakistanis go to study in Malaysia for their master's and their PhD degrees. And we're indeed very privileged and very pleased to have you here, Professor Siti, to join us, along with all the other academicians and paper presenters and discussants and panelists, to hear your views in this conference on adaptive business strategies. Khusro Parvez Khan Sahab, our very highly esteemed head of campus, who has done remarkable work here at Islamabad campus and has completely altered and upgraded the profile of this campus over many years that you've been here, sir. Very appreciative of that. Associate Dean Dr. Muhammad Asif Khan Sahab, I want to especially say a word of thanks to you and to appreciate the hard work that has gone into planning this conference, and to Dr. Shazia Akhtar, the HOD of the Management Science Program. Conferences are not easy to put together, and this is one which promises some good substantive discussions, and particularly the number of research papers that will be presented. I want to recognize the effort that has gone in by the entire department of Management Sciences, all their faculty members. I also want to recognize at this point those who are not in this room, but I know are listening in from our various campuses, from Karachi campus, Hyderabad, Larkana, and even from Gharo campus. Because as we sit here and as I speak today, we are being live streamed. So Dr. Muhammad Altaf Mukachi Sahab, who's our Vice President Academics, and Dr. Muhammad Lakhi Sahab. In particular, I want to recognize them because they're the Dean, he's the Dean of Management Science, and I know that we have our HODs, and from time to time we will have program managers and others sitting in the committee room listening in on this conference. We are here together, I think, I hope to have 2 valuable days, and I'm a great believer that the 2 days will give as much value as each one of us puts into it. That's really important. We've talked about sustainable, inclusive, forward-looking systems of governance, and it's a long time that Pakistan has been talking about sustainable systems, whether it is of development or any aspect of development. How do you sustain investments? How do you sustain outcomes in human development? How do you change the indicators around many particular different domains and fields? And how to make sure that we are not only sustainable, and you cannot be sustainable unless you're inclusive. And of course, today the buzzword is adaptive. It's resilience, it's what Khusro Parvez Khan Sahab talked about, The rapidity of change, the rapidity of technological change we all know, because you know when you have a smartphone in your hand, and you know it's going to get smarter 2 weeks later, because somebody out there is going to make significant changes. The same goes for all your computer-based systems, for data science, for big data, for artificial intelligence. Now there's artificial generative intelligence, AGI, as you know. There's artificial superintelligence, ASI, as you know. And if you heard Elon Musk speak some time ago, he said that at least in the United States of America, change is happening so rapidly that software programmers will not find jobs. They will be out of jobs. So will many, many other technologically proficient and skilled people. And this is a big challenge for countries like Pakistan. How do you prepare our young people not only to learn today, but to learn for tomorrow? I think that's really the big challenge that we are facing. So when we're looking forward at adaptive technologies, we hope to hear from Dr. Abid Suleri at greater length and greater elaboration. Well, conferences in universities really are a platform for sharing ideas, for positing new ideas, for encouraging debate, and in particular for sharing research. And research which we hope is research of relevance, and it addresses some real-world challenges. And you'll find that Zabist Campus Islamabad has done a remarkable job. There are 22 breakout sessions. In 22 rooms, you will have researchers presenting their papers. And there will be an audience, which may not be large, but it will be what I call the critical audience, the audience that engages. So for me, I think, and for all of us in the university, this is a point of great opportunity and impact, and we're very pleased. And of course, there will be a report on the proceedings of the international conference, and the summary of it will be shared, so will the entire report, and I hope it will be of value to some institutions around the country. We are, of course, dedicated to academic excellence and to rigorous research. I think the important other third pillar on which we stand is impactful innovation. And that's not easy to do. Innovation is not easy. It requires a very complex set of factors coming together. And it's not just technological innovation. Innovation has got to be this recreation of the mindset of people who are applying themselves. So how do you have impact? How do you measure that what you've done is really of significance enough impact? So as many conferences do, and I speak particularly to the younger people here, you may want to come away from a conference with many more questions that were left unanswered, because that's really the trigger. We don't want all the questions answered. That's imperfect. So the thought content of it and the questions that arise in your mind, we hope that they will be about the central theme of the conference, because otherwise it's not feasible. But we are really interested in ensuring that you find that environment here in the next 2 days. I want to particularly once again thank each and every person who's here, to appreciate the hard work that has gone into this, and to hope that every one of you here and in the other rooms, because I think you all know that this is being live streamed. So we have students sitting at home listening in, we have students sitting on the campus listening in, and we have a larger community across Islamabad listening into this conference. So I wish the conference participants a very, very engaging 2 days here and a very successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
It is now my profound privilege to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Abid Qayyum Suleri. Dr. Abid holds a PhD in food security from the University of Greenwich, UK, and is the executive director of SDPI. Dr. Abid is a distinguished expert in sustainable development, public policy, food security, and climate change. He is currently serving on the International Advisory Committee of COP29, the Advisory Council of the Asian Development Bank Institute, the Pakistan Climate Change Council, and the boards of NDRMF, BISP, and the National School of Public Policy. He has also been a long-standing advisor to Pakistan's Planning Commission and Economic Advisory Council, and served as coordinator of the Prime Minister's Agriculture Transformation Plan. Please join me in extending a respectful and warm welcome to invite Dr. Abid Qayyum Suleri for the inaugural speech.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, respected Ma'am Shahnaz Wazir Ali, Khusro Parvez Khan Sahab, members of faculty at ZABIST, dear students, and all of those who are following us on live stream. It's indeed a real pleasure and honor to be with you, and of course, to deliver a speech in presence of Ma'am Shahnaz Wazir Ali. One thing that got missed in her introduction, she remained the member of Board of Governors at STPI. So the institution that I'm representing, actually, she is one of the proud founders of that institute. And thank you, ma'am, for establishing such a wonderful institute that now after 35 years is still relevant and trying to contribute in its policy arrangement capacity. Another topic that was assigned to me, and I assume I have around 10 minutes, 5 minutes. What's my time limit? No. So I think I'll try to conclude in 7 to 10 minutes. It's about adaptation, it's about innovation and integration, and of course thinking of business strategies. Also the question that why we sometimes get frustrated that this economic integration didn't take place in Pakistan as successfully as it could have been and why we are lagged behind our peers. Many of those who got independence with us, and now they are far ahead in the journey of economic growth and social transformation. I think adaptation perhaps is getting used to and trying to live with the circumstances and the forces that shape our political economy. And then you have very rightly chosen some of the complementary adjectives and adverbs with adaptation, innovation and integration. So if one looks at Pakistan's case, I would say that perhaps our economic model kept getting adapted from 1947 till today. But where we lacked, it was innovation and it was integration. So let me explain it. From 1947 till 1949, we were sort of a loose customs union with India. There was no tariff. The currency was accepted on both sides. There was no restriction on movement of people, movement of goods, movement of services. And then came an era, which one can say the state-controlled economy, the era of licenses and permits. And that's where we had this story of 21 families having their capturing the Pakistan's economy. And I'm referring to General Ayub Khan's era. That was an era when industrialization started. That was an era when we started work towards green revolution. Then, of course, the negative impact of having this wealth concentrated in 21 families, there was an era of nationalization. and Islamic socialism under Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Shahid. Then there was this era of quote-unquote Islamization, where and dictator, in order to extend his tenure, labeled the word Islam and changed all the jargons. And then we again turned to neoliberalism and this privatization and this continuous cycle of stability, boom and bust cycle, and IMF. And this is a story of Pakistan's adaptation. Now, if within this adaptation one looks at some of the years where Pakistan economically did excellent, interestingly you will find that those were the years when military dictators were ruling the Pakistan. And it is not that under dictatorship our economy thrived. It is that we were dependent on external flows at that time, be it is the coalition support fund dollars, or it was the war for Soviet Union and Afghan Jihad dollars, or it was the price that was paid to Pakistan being part of SEATO and CENTO and Vietnam War. And I feel that it was these external injection of dollars that kept us away from innovation and integration. So almost in our existence, almost 35 years, when we had free flow of dollars coming to Pakistan, that is where we saw a sea change in our economic model. Now, what are the three major ingredients of our GDP? It's primary production or agriculture, it's manufacturing, and it's services. Now, people of my age in this room, we grew up reading and listening and learning that Pakistan is an agrarian economy and agriculture is the backbone of Pakistan. And then all of a sudden we found out that services sector is making up 60% of Pakistan's GDP. Agriculture, which was the backbone of Pakistan's economy, its share in GDP got restricted to 20%. And we bypassed manufacturing and industrialization in this process. So we were predominantly an agricultural country. And of course, in the systematic evolution, the second stage was to be an industrialist country, to be a manufacturing country, before jumping on to be a major service provider. But we somehow, and again, when I look at the numbers and some outliers, economic performance, I realized that it is the external, too much external dependence that actually evolved us from agriculture state to a service-driven economy, and industry bypassed. But within this evolution, something that couldn't happen was graduation of our human resources. Now, agriculture is a sector where skilled, semi-skilled, formally literate, or those who never go to any education institute, all of them, they can contribute, and they still, agriculture sector is still the major job provider in Pakistan. Almost 39% direct jobs are coming from agriculture sector. In industry, one has to be sort of semi-skilled or semi-literate. And in services, one has to be very skilled or excellent educational career in order to provide the best services. Now, while we evolved from agriculture to services, our human resources, they somehow remain where they were. And that has affected our productivity. Productivity of agriculture, productivity of manufacturing. Now, the major challenge and turmoil in any household today is when domestic helpers, they leave. We can't find good domestic helpers. When we have to find a good tailor, when we have to find a good mechanic, when we have to find a good plumber, when we have to find a good carpenter, when we have to find a good researcher, when we have to find a good professor. So these are the type of challenges that we keep on facing in this economy where 60% of GDP is coming from services. And within this service sector, if we are not able to produce the capable human resources, that then impact the integration as well as the innovation aspect of it. Likewise, when we talk of industrialization, as we bypassed industrialization and manufacturing directly from agriculture to services, it has a major impact on our boom and bust cycle. We cannot afford to grow for more than 6% GDP for more than 5 years. What would happen if we keep growing at 6% for more than 5 years? Our demand increases. When demand increases, we don't produce enough commodities domestically. We have to import. When we rely on import, our import bill increases. When import bill increases, we face ourselves that there's a shortage of dollars and current account deficit, and we have to go back to IMF. That is the story from 2013 to 2018, the most recent growth trajectory, which was again part of external injection of CPEC dollars. But whenever the lifestyle standard of living improves, whenever the income per capita improves, consumption increases, and for that consumption, we don't have enough manufacturing to tackle that consumption from our domestic resources. We have to import and we have to spend dollars. So that is another challenge that the economy is facing. Now, within this, if one looks at the causes of failure for economic integration or for lack of innovation, I would say that the protectionist policies of some sectors which were perceived as sacred sectors, automobile sector. Many of you, even I can see many millennials here, you might have seen the Suzuki cars which never had the seat belts. So the customers and consumers of Pakistan were actually punished to protect the Japanese car makers and attracting their investment. One of the waivers that we have given them, that there was no concept of seat belts even in the new models. There was no concept of airbags, even the new models, because it was a captive economy where we knew that the 3 Japanese car makers, they are producing their cars, and we have protected them, the auto car industry. Textile is another major example which was overprotected, and there was, so this protection or subsidies, it is actually the cost of inefficiency. So this cost of inefficiency, it doesn't do anything, any good in the medium to longer term. So textile industry is heavily protected, and now it finds itself crippled. Even if today the Trump, after 90 days review period, if all the tariffs they are reinstated, had our textile integrated and followed the practices of innovation, we have a major competitive advantage against Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Cambodia. All the 4 countries, they have much higher taxes that have been applied from United States than Pakistan. Pakistan is 29%, Cambodia and Vietnam is 44%, 47%. But we will not be able to get benefit of, even if things are at a status quo, we will not be able to get benefit of this because our textile industry didn't invest in bringing innovation. It didn't invest in integration. So we are happy with bed linen and towel and other very primary these textile products. We don't do value addition. We are not part of major supply chains, Hugo Boss and other big brands. And that is where the industry, because it had this false sense of security, they would be getting, now under IMF program we cannot, but at one point of time the thinking was that they would be getting export rebates, they would be getting energy at a very cheap rate, they would be getting credit at a cheap rate, they would be getting other incentives, and so they had no actually incentive to invest in their innovation, and this has hit us. second export, agriculture products. Those of you who have got a chance to transit through Bangkok or visited Bangkok, you will find that one of the product there at almost every shop is the dried fruits, dried mangoes. One mango is sliced into 10 or 12 slices, dried, and being sold at $2 to $3 per packet. What are we doing? We are sending our mangoes. The price of 1 kilo of mango is equal to the one mango that is sold dried. Again, because we never invested in the value addition. The same is with the rice. When in 2022, due to this dollar restrictions, the import was curtailed, cereals were in the Kellogg's and all other cereals. Those were out of access to the middle income earner families. Now, we are wheat producer, we are rice producer, and we only one brand of cereal we had at that time, Fuji cereals, which again had no incentive to increase their innovation or their quality. So the point I'm trying to make that all of this protection and all of these subsidies and this false sense of security and this urge not to compete, the fear of unknown, that we may lose the fight or may lose the battle, that has actually crippled our industry, and partly that was the reason that we had to take a quantum jump from agriculture to services, because in services the individuals, they could make their footsteps. In agriculture, it's the individuals, the communities that can contribute. In manufacturing, it's about integration, it's about upward, downward linkages, it's about SMEs linking into the big, where the concentration of wealth is, and of course, that couldn't take place. But going forward, and I'll conclude with the 4 trends which are very much there, and why we need to actually focus on innovation and invention. There are at least 4 trends to watch in 2025, 2026. The first is climate change. Climate change, the changing climate, those of you who are lucky that your vehicles didn't get destroyed by the hailstorms a few weeks ago, you can see that how unpredictable the weathers they have turned. And it's not only in Pakistan. The head news in all international media is the power outage in Spain and Portugal. Had you ever thought that Spain and Portugal, they would be powerless, banks and ATM machines would stop working, the airports would have to close down, the train service would disrupt, not due to any act of terrorism or any flood or emergency. There is no power there because of the temperature fluctuation. They hadn't predicted this winter-summer temperature fluctuation, which actually massively affected the whole grid. So Spain is under blackout today, since yesterday. Portugal is under blackout today, and that is climate change. And that actually weakens our case when we talk of Pakistan being one of the most vulnerable countries. So in any loss and damage fund or any other funds, Pakistan should get some share because we are not one of the largest emitters. No, each and every country is vulnerable, starting from the hurricanes in United States to the fires in Australia. There is no place on earth which is safe from climate change today. And if our industry didn't act and didn't prepare for climate change, we'll be the loser. And industry may survive even within climate change. Agriculture would certainly will not be there. So service provider, we are in this room. Industrialists, they can take a pause. Agriculture is the living organisms. You cannot ask, put a button, pause button to pause the wheat or rice crop because it's too hot or it's too humid or it's too wet or it's too dry. And that is where we have to adapt for climate resilient agriculture, for precision agriculture. And when I say we have to adapt, we will have to use the innovative technologies. So the same drone that can detect landmines 3 meters below the soil can also detect the pH value of the soil. It can also detect the moisture level of the soil. It can also detect which fertilizer to give, which fertilizer, and when to add fertilizer. You take a spatial overview and you can find where in the crop area, which part is more infested with the weeds, which part is more infested with diseases, which part is more infested with insects, and then also use the same drones to spray it. So it's all about data, and it's about data integration, and it's about using that data very skillfully for precision agriculture. Same is for the hoarding, STPI. In 2022, we did prepare a dashboard for government of Pakistan on a pro bono basis, which was actually meant to have a live coverage of the supply and prices of major food commodities in Pakistan. So we used red, yellow, and green colors, the traffic lights, and the DCs were to provide the data, the daily stock position, the daily prices, and any decision maker could, in an instance of seconds, could see which districts are food insecure, where there is a shortage or hoarding, where prices are increasing. Unfortunately, that dashboard is no more in use after these political changes. But the point I'm trying to make that there is room for innovation, there is room for integration, and data and all the new technologies, they will take us there. The second major trend that I wanted to discuss with you, again related with climate change but a different aspect. From 1st January 2026, any export going to European Union would be subject to CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. I hope the business students, they are aware of this. So Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism in layperson language is that if the carbon emission in producing that product across supply chain is higher than what is permissible in EU, exporter would have to pay a carbon tax. Right now, it is applied on 6 sectors. It's aluminum, glass, steel, hydrogen, fertilizer, and electricity. Started from October 2023. From 1st Jan 2026, its scope would expand, and then gradually it would keep on expanding. Now just imagine if textile sector comes under this CBAM from 1st Jan 2026. Do we have green and clean supply chains that can export to EU without getting subject to carbon taxes? Even if we today start greening our supply chain, do we have internationally accredited certifying bodies who can certify and give a certificate that today the emission level of ABC group was 100, tomorrow it would be 50, and then it would be 40. Will our certification be acceptable in Europe and America? We don't have not even a single accredited lab that can give such certification. And CBAM would not only remain in EU, UK, because after Brexit, they are one of the major sufferers of CBAM. UK is bringing its own CBAM mechanism. When Trump would find out, even if he's not a believer on climate change, but when he will find out that EU is applying tariffs, quote unquote, carbon taxes, carbon levy, in the name of climate change, he will reciprocate. So it means that carbon tax in US too, and when all of them they will have, China will also have its own CBAM. So within this, if Pakistani supply chains, if they are not green and clean enough, if they are not adapted to climate changing realities, if they are not resilient to climate change, and if they are not controlling carbon emission, and if we don't have bodies to certify it, just imagine where our exports would be. Of course, that would be a major challenge, and we need to get ready for it. The third and final point is, after this tariff war, even if today President Trump revokes all tariffs, the damage has already occurred. This loss of trust, this loss of transparency, violation of rule-based trade regime, that would never return back for at least next 5, 6, 7 decades. So do you think that Canada and Mexico, they would keep on trusting in Trump's promises, or even if next time there is some Democrat president, they will not be worried of the fact that 4 years down the road there can be another Republican government which can resume all the things that President Trump has imposed. So now the supply chains has to be regional. The world is trading in new blocks. So EU is signing a free trade agreement with the UAE. UK is doing the same. EU president was in India last month trying to negotiate a trade deal. There was a trade deal with Latin America hanging for last 35 years. EU finalized it, and now there's a trade deal with Latin America and EU. And within all this, unfortunately, I don't find Pakistan in major regional blocs. We are not part of BRICS. India opposes our membership in BRICS. We are not part of ASEAN. India opposes our membership in ASEAN. We are not part of RECP, which is ASEAN plus some Western countries. Again, India opposes it. SAARC is literally dysfunctional. And within this, if we don't have even a chair on negotiation table, I'm not talking of sending our exports or import, if we don't have a place on negotiation table because of our absence in these major regional blocs, that means that the challenge is multifold. Now we have to prove our relevance, and prove our relevance with the adoption of innovation, with the adoption of integration, and this relevance actually would help us in the times of conflict as we are observing now. I wrote it a couple of days ago for the news, the Indus Water Treaty. I don't think that there is any short to medium term impact in India due to physical, due to engineering, due to seismic, due to many reasons, cannot stop Pakistan's water. But one thing India can do is make our water supply very unpredictable. The Indian dams on our western tributaries, those are run-of-river dam. They can store water, produce electricity, and release it. They can't store it for good. They don't have mega storage projects there. But what they can do, they can keep opening and closing their spillways and don't share the data with us. We have already seen one of the manifestations in River Jhelum at Bala Hatia a few days ago. And that would be a major challenge. Even if Indus Water Treaty India was not taking these unilateral steps, Pakistan is already a water scarce country. Now, we have to fight on two fronts. A, at international front, ensuring that sanctity of Indus Water Treaty stays. And the second is making the best use of water resources that are available to us at domestic level. So if we are not optimizing our water usage, whatever is available to us, then of course, again, it would be a lose-lose situation. But I don't want to paint all this doom and gloom. I know the future is in safe hands. The youngsters who are sitting here, they are much more capable than us, my generation. We tried our level best. We could only do what we have done so far. But with your energy, with your zeal, with your innovative ideas, I'm sure that you will steer it to the safe waters. STPI takes pride in our collaboration with Zabist University. Will be more than happy to offer the summer internships to your best students. We have a couple of batches of summer internships. It would start after Eid this year, and we'll have at least 2 to 3 rounds of internship. I'll ask my team to be in touch with you, Khusro Saab. So it would be a pleasure to host the very talented students of Zabist at STPI and to play our role in grooming their professional skills. Thank you very much for it.
Thank you, Dr. Abid Suleri, for those insightful words.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next member of the plenary session is Dr. Siti Falinda Padle. Dr. Siti Falinda has earned her PhD in marketing from Monash University, Australia, and holds a master's in research management from University Malaysia Technology. Dr. Falinda is an associate professor at the Faculty of Business, Economics, and Social Development, University Malaysia Terengganu, where she also leads the management marketing program. She has published widely in reputable international and local journals, also serves as a reviewer for several high-impact journals, including Journal of Marketing from Higher Education and Journal of Cleaner Production. Additionally, she contributes to editorial boards of Journal of Internet Marketing at Advertising and Journal of Sustainability, Science, and Management, where she is also an assistant editor. Please welcome Dr. Siti Falinda Padle.
This session will be moderated by Professor Dr. Shazia Akhtar, our conference chair and head of Department of Management Sciences at Zabist University, Islamabad. Dr. Shazia Akhtar brings over 25 years of experience in teaching, research, and human resource development. She holds a PhD in human resource development and has authored more than 50 research publications. Dr. Akhtar is also a certified corporate trainer and HR consultant dedicated to advancing management education and professional growth. Dr. Shazia Akhtar.
Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible? Assalamualaikum. Am I audible? No? Yes, now I am. Okay, thank you so much to the august panel, Dr. Abid and Dr. Siti Falinda and Ma'am President, for the wonderful words of wisdom which you have given. And because you have actually, Dr. Abid, you have actually summed up the entire theme of the conference and have also posed so many challenges. So naturally, I will be asking you about the solution later. Because for so many decades, we are basically talking about our problems. And one of the endeavor of this conference will be to provide a platform where we can provide certain solutions to the government and other development sectors, that what is the way forward, what we can basically do. With that, because I will be coming back to Dr. Abid and then to Dr. Siti, that I was just moderating one session at PIDE, and I was having this live conversation with this French economist, whose concept is opposite to static demand, the concept of static demand. And he was talking about dynamic demand, and he was talking about the concept of that evolutionary economics. That is one concept, and he was also, his model is also giving those economic trajectories. What can work for developing countries, what can work for developed countries, and what can work for third world countries. So with this, Dr. Abid, you have rightly pointed out, and I will say that you have touched the entire history of Pakistan, how it actually started from agro-based, and then it switched directly to the service sector, and we sort of bypassed the industry. So, when we talk about integration, we see that there's no integration upstream or even downstream integration when it comes to our own value chain. And you also spoke about regional integration and then perhaps global integration. Do you think that with this kind of, what I say is that the sustainable governance system is missing from our governance? Can we actually achieve this kind of integration? Is it a reality or it's something we can just dream of? Dr. Abid?
Thank you. You see, even if it's a dream, we have to be there. So the point is that the laggers, they don't have a place in this competitive world. If we are not ready for the challenge of today and tomorrow, we don't find a place. And even if we hadn't done so, the sustainable governance, whereby all 4 or 3 pillars of these societal, economic, environmental, and political, they have to be taken into consideration. I'm sure that now with Pakistan being under IMF program and getting this resilient sustainability facility for climate change for next 28 months, you will find that there would be a lot of discussion around climate change. You will find the green taxonomy, you will find the budget labeled as climate change, you will find expenditures and revenue labeled as whether it is green revenue and whether the expenditure is made to cope against climate change. So for me, it's a window of opportunity. So something that we kept ignoring for decades, I think under this IMF program, because it would pinch if we don't do so, the tranche would get suspended, there would be an immediate focus on climate change. Now, with this sort of facility coming in, with the realities of trade like CBAM, we will have to ultimately get ready
Adopt.
for this upstream, downstream integration.
Exactly.
We would have to move beyond this static model, following the static model of production, whereby the focus is just to produce more of the same kind, not to add value.
Exactly.
So the dynamism means that we are adding value, we are innovating.
Exactly.
The static model is that we are happy with whatever model we are following. All we are trying to do is to quantitatively expanding it without increasing inequality. And that model would not work in the emerging realities of the region and the emerging realities of the globe.
Thank you. With that, I come to Dr. Siti. Dr. Siti, you must have seen this evolution in Malaysian model of economy, that first they were relying on FDI investment model, and they progressed and they followed or they benchmarked Singapore. And then they they turned that multinationals, basically they are, what I say is that they are like giving a soft image of a Red Riding Hood disguised as wolves. So they take all the profits back home, and host countries, they really benefit from that FDI investment model. So then they realized, and because Mahathir started this model, now they shifted to indigenous models. So how this transition has actually helped Malaysia, and what we say that they've evolved to a new economic system, and that same model, can it be replicated to our country as well?
Thank you so much, Prof. Okay, like what Prof mentioned just now, we are now in the era of a new Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim. The policy is just the same one with the Tun Mahathir, but the policy is now changing, but the same policy that implemented by Tun Mahathir. So we work together with what have been implemented by the government to ensure that through the same policy, Okay, but the improved policy, the government try to attract more foreign investors come to Malaysia. Okay, now especially now in recent policy, Malaysia government attract more investors of from technologies companies to come to Malaysia to invest. So what I could say that this policy actually has provide more opportunity of job creations where for example in Cyberjaya, if anyone have you gone to Cyberjaya, there is a place, the area where the government have opened it to the local entrepreneurs to produce their own local technologies product. So this is the way that Malaysia moving forward to be the high income nation one day. So like
What
we
I
as-
can just get from your discussion is that basically substitution is not that good a strategy. We should be going towards coexistence.
Yes,
That new
yes.
models should not actually replace the old ones, but there should be a smooth transition
yes
to a
yes.
new model of economy, just as you are switching back to FDI. Previously, we were talking about national investments and entrepreneurial system.
Yes.
And now again, you are talking about FDI and because it creates jobs and new opportunities. So with this, with the permission of Chair Ma'am Shahnaz Wazir Ali, if I can take certain question answers. So with the house is open for question answers, we can just quickly take, due to shortage of time, 1 or 2 questions. Yes, please. If you can rotate the mic. We do have a mic. Kindly a quick introduction and then you can put the question.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Junaid Satarabat, a practicing lawyer and published researcher. My question is with this sir, I don't know the name. It's
Dr. Abid?
Dr. Abid.
Doctor.
So, as you are working with the sustainable development goals in Pakistan, you do not think so it is difficult to implement the sustainable development goals to 2030? I think that's the deadline. After 18th Amendment, because in federation there's a separate subject, and in province there's a separate subject. And I very closely work with the bureaucracy in Punjab. And I see that they are not implementing and getting these sustainable development goals as led by the United Nations. Thank you.
Yes. Doctor, yes, if you feel comfortable, you can have another question and then the panel will address the queries or the questions which you have. Any other question from the house? Yes, over there. No? Okay, so I think that's the question.
You see, this 18th Amendment actually is an excellent opportunity to work on sustainable development goals. The missing link is that we don't have this National Finance Commission Award, and we don't have Provincial Finance Commission Awards. So 18th Amendment, it delegates the responsibilities to work on social sectors, most of the sectors relevant to SDGs, to provinces, which is how it should have been. 18th Amendment and the NFC award, it is a formula to distribute funds between federal government and federating units. And the next step is where we could see from the province those funds getting disbursed to districts, and in the shape of some sort of finance commission award. It's the district government's responsibility to ensure provision of clean water, to ensure provision of sanitary, to ensure provision of sustainable consumption production, to ensure clean air, etc. So this top-down model, it will not work. So federal government cannot actually neither it can decide nor it can take actions on delivering on sustainable development goals. It had to be other way around. Districts have to come up with their own sustainable development strategies. The provinces, they should pool in the strategies of the districts and come up with their provincial strategy paper, and then the federal government should get benefit of those provincial strategies. I think the approach that we are taking to SDGs, that is where the problem is. It's not whether we'll be achieving the SDGs by 2030 or not.
Yeah, it should not be top-down approach, rather it should come from the community. And then basically provinces can help, and then the federal can play its role. So any other question with this, ma'am? Closing remarks, or you want to ask some question?
Okay. I think since we're running short of time, and both for Dr. Professor Siti, who's also got several other sessions, and for Dr. Abid Suleri, I would not like to unduly take the time. Clearly, the keynote address today, I'm sure that all of us have listened very attentively, has been a very comprehensive, wide-ranging keynote address, looking at the macro environmental factors, both economic, of course, clearly in terms of business, trade, industry, services, agriculture, and GDP, where Pakistan stands and what are the critical periods of history. I think that was very illuminating, Dr. Abid, because I do feel that in Pakistan we don't study our history very carefully. Unfortunately, we have many generations in Pakistan growing up without an adequate, comprehensive understanding of Pakistan and its origins and its pathways in the early several decades. Because where we are today is a consequence of what we have done over many decades ago. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for reminding us what happened in the first 10 years and how Ayub Khan's model was deemed to be economically very successful. Certainly it was to some extent, but it could not sustain itself. So there's a question as to why we were not able to continue with that. And I would strongly urge the younger students here to go back and take a look at the economic periods of Pakistan's history. They coincide with the political nexus of the time, but they stand also on their own. So I think that historical sketch was very, very, it was a pointer for each one of us. Also today, and if you could just give a brief comment on that, we are consumed by what Trump is saying and how dominant Trump is on tariff trades, and he's had to reverse his position on a lot of things, especially the radical position he took on China and the tariffs. So he's also known as cancel my last announcement, the CMLA. He says something and a few days later it's watered down. So my query to you, Dr. Abid, is that the withdrawal of America from supporting WHO and a couple of other international multilateral organizations, how significant an impact do you see that, or do you see that this is good for the New World Order? Because it means that American dominance, by their very act, has been withdrawn. They're no longer. So I'll just be very short on this. If you could just make a few comments.
Dr. Abid, ma'am, because our VP Academics, he's sending a question all the way from Karachi, so I just wanted to ask that. We can include, and then you can perhaps give the answer. That is it true that PIA has been paying carbon penalty to the extent of $2 million every year? So this is the question he's asking you. Okay. Right.
But I will have to double check.
Okay.
I don't think that it's operating
in those areas.
On your Christina, I think it's really interesting, and 2 weeks ago I wrote about it. I tried to relate that in Seattle, in the meeting of WTO, how at that time the progressive and the left, they were battling against WTO and globalization. And, I remembered how we in Doha in 2001, Dr. Dr. and I was there, we were fighting, shouting against U.S. agenda of
Because
US agenda of globalization and WTO, and now only 24 years down the road, the whole left is now protecting the tariffs
exactly.
and blaming Trump for dismantling the globalization that we were opposing very vehemently at one point of time. And my conclusion was, and my conclusion is, that we know what we stand against, we don't know what we stand for. And there is this ideological confusion. And that ideological confusion has require the type of sessions that you are holding and international research conferences. So America is the godfather of globalization. And now America is dismantling that globalization. And we in the global south, who were very scared of this globalization and who were opposing it tooth and nail, now we are protesting against it. Which means that Urdu में उसको कहते हैं कुछ हम समझे कुछ तुम समझे. So there is some wisdom on our side, there is some wisdom on their side, and this is where we need to find some sort of converging point. And I hope that there will be at least one lesson in this whole turmoil, and that lesson would be don't put your eggs in one basket. Of course, this whole thing is self-defeating. Trump, when he came, his first announcement was that if BRICS tried to bring an alternative currency to dollars, he would put tariff on it. Now I think with all of this, I don't know if America would be great again or not. China would be great again. And now China is a magnet to which the rest of the world is attracted.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Abed, for. And I'm just some closing remarks, and then we can just go for the shield distribution. Okay, thank you so much. I think, just as ma'am rightly said, that a conference provides opportunity, whether we get answers to some burning question or whether we are left with so many other questions to ponder about. So the start has actually begun, and we have been given so many questions. We have to look into these questions. Maybe the technical sessions and Thought Leader Forum will also provide the opportunity to get answers to all these burning issues. And hopefully this 2-day engaging policy forum will also provide us some way ahead. It's a complicated solutions, naturally. And if we say that countries like America, they cannot hold a single model, and that's not a sustainable governance model, what to talk about developing countries and then third world countries like Pakistan. But we are very much hopeful with naturally policy makers and strategists, just like Dr. Abed, Ma'am President, and so Dr. Siti, and the entire academia. We are very hopeful that we will get, inshallah, solution to our burning issues. With this, I will now request the MOCs to proceed with the remaining part of the inaugural session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shazia Akhtar.
We now proceed to the shield distribution ceremony. I would like to invite President Zabis University Shehnaz Wazir Ali and Head of Campus Mr. Khusro Parvez Khan to please come on stage and join Madam President to present the shields to our distinguished guests. We request Mr. Abid Qayyum Suleri to please come forward and receive his shield. I now request Dr. Asif to please come on stage. दे दिया सिद्धि फलिंदा को नहीं दिया Thank you. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Photography ka bolo.
Yes. We now request our distinguished guests to kindly proceed to the staircase area for a group photograph.
Remaining participants, please be seated. The ushers will be guiding you shortly. Please remain seated.